So, I'm titling this video, So You Want to Buy a Kiln for Pottery. That's the only ones I'm talking about. There's a lot of other different kilns you can get. We're also, when you look at getting a kiln, and I'll have more information going on through the video. Another thing I'd thought about that I hadn't added is, let's look at what the temperature of the kiln can go to. Some kilns can only do what they call low fire, and some kilns can go up to higher fire. I'm only talking about the electrical oxidation kilns, because I have no experience really with running a gas kiln or anything about that. So typical hobby potter at home kind of deal. So do you want to fire low fire? Do you want to fire high fire? The kilns I have can go to cone 6 easily. The bigger kiln is rated to go to cone 10. The smaller kiln is rated to go to cone 8. Do I want to run cone 8 and cone 10 all the time? No, because then my elements are going to run out really quick. But I'll let you get on to the rest of the video, and maybe this can help you a little bit. Maybe you can decide what kind of kiln you really want and what's going to be the right fit for you, and how much can you really afford as far as the kiln goes, because that's the big expense. People are concerned about what the cost of a wheel is. Well, the kiln can get way higher than the wheel just because of electricity. Anyway, that's all going to be in there. I hope you enjoy this video, and if you like it, or if you like me, please give me a thumbs up, make a comment. If you have different kiln that you like, don't like, put it down below, make a comment about that. Also, you can share, and I would really appreciate subscribers, because if I'm going to keep doing this, that's what keeps me going. And so I would appreciate any subscriptions that you can give me. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the show. Here's where my kilns are stationed. Yes, there's a lot more leaves to collect before I start trying to even think about firing it. This is my backyard. I say mine, I'm a renter. So yeah, my landlord let me do this, and I'm very, very, very lucky. So the main thing is, talking about just the kilns right now, I started with Baby over here. It's a 2.6 Paragon B88B. I got Baby in 2020 in February. Before I didn't get my wheel till June or July of that year with my COVID blood money. I found Baby and Brother. Brother is just like Baby, only way worse shape. So Baby's ultimately going to be my sister-in-law Stephanie's kiln if she chooses to want to keep it. So I'm going to be working on it just a little bit more to get the Kiln Sitter adjusted. So looking inside Baby, I found Baby. Oh, I got to fix that now too. Okay, more repairs are needed. I'm going to show you the inside of Baby. I just don't want to take that out. There's a small tiny crack in the bottom. It's not a big deal. This is the bigger part right here, and this is the bigger part. And there's the Kiln Sitter, where you keep the cones. So over here is the mechanism to keep it going. Has the timer right here. Here's the timer. Here's, as I fit down here, here's where this latches up. Whenever you put the cone in the Kiln Sitter, then it holds this down. You press this button here and it goes. It's really a very simple process. You put this cone in. Some people put a cone above and monitor their cones during the firing. It has peepholes that you look through during the firing. I always have a hard time seeing through the peepholes, but if I catch it at the right time, or if I'm firing and it ends up shutting off in the daytime, I am good as gold, because then I can see it easily. But at nighttime, because I'm a night nurse, I have a really hard time seeing those cones. But it's vitally important to use cones. Some people have dialed in their kiln and don't use cones, and then they're like, why, what happened? Well, okay, so let's see what happened. What happened? What did the cones say happened? And they said, well, I didn't use cones. So that's the first question right there. We don't know if elements didn't work. We don't know if you didn't put the cones on the bottom and the top, or just the middle, or wherever. We don't know what really happened inside the kiln. So, looking inside my L&L, I'm not really sure how old the Paragon B88B is, because some people say it doesn't even exist. The funny thing is, for not existing, I have two. Don't know. They have the A88B or the A88A, but I can find very little on the B88B. Okay, so this is my new to me L&L kiln with Dynatroller. Snickers has to be a part of everything. It doesn't have the Bartlett. We do have the Dynatrol, so I don't have like the Wi-Fi capabilities or anything like that, but digital compared to this. So two totally different ways to go. And does it automatically mean that if I put a cone in this and program this for the same cone, am I going to get the same firing? No. My L&L has 3-inch bricks, so it's going to take longer to cool down. So this one, it's going to cool down really quickly. And I'll be able to open up that one way faster than this one. You can look, and actually that I did. So tiny little cracks were in the kiln top. Here's my bottom shelf. Once again, bending down, taking the shelf out. I'm sorry, people, but we can look and see. Isn't that amazing how great the bricks look? We'll talk about money here in a minute, so we can talk about the difference in prices and what your budgets are. But something in the L&L, I have 3 thermocouplers. That means I can individually program each segment to be the closer in temperature through the digital controls, which is amazing. Another amazing thing is when they go out, I have to buy 3. So I'm not just stuck buying one, which I would be buying for my little, well, honestly, all I buy is that because it's so old that it doesn't have any kind of thermocouplers or anything like that. But that's good, because that means it's cheaper to keep up. So that's a positive. I have to buy 2, 4, 6 different element sets whenever I have to replace elements, because you will. When I got this one, it had like 214 firings, and I had replaced all the elements because the person that sold it to me graciously gave me elements to go with it. I think they were just kind of fearful of just tearing it up and putting the elements in, and I have no real fears like that. I'll just tear stuff up. It's like that's the only way you're going to learn, is just do it, and if you mess it up, you rebuy basically what. But still, even if I rebought, it's still cheaper than paying somebody to come and do it, and then retrying again. Okay, so these are my 2 vastly different kilns. Baby on the right, I got from Craigslist. Dorothy on the left, I got from reference from a peer on Potters of Texas, and it was from Connor from Trinity Ceramic Supplies that said, hey, there's an L&L kiln out there, and I'm just reposting this for somebody. And so he set me up with the person that was selling it, and I wasn't even really thinking about getting one, but because just budget wise, I wasn't even thinking about it. But he told me that it was for $2,500. And I know that sounds like a lot, but it came with all the furniture, came with the extra set of elements. It came with a vent, which is a $500 item. It came with just everything I needed to get it up and going. And the seller told me about the elements needing changed, gave me the elements. She showed me before I left that it worked. It came on, it wasn't a problem. So if it broke in the transit, then that would be on me. And once again, with baby, I had them turn it on. It worked. I saw her working. So I knew that, at least at that point, that I would have a functioning kiln. Whether I needed to replace elements or whatever, believe it or not, the elements are still good in baby. Brother, on the other hand, needs just about a whole overhaul. But I'm willing to do that too. So the whole cost for these, like I said, $2,500 vent, which I'm not using here because it's outside. I don't know where I'd even hang a vent at. $2,500. Grand total of $80 for this one. Brother was $100 and baby was $80. So for $180, I got 2 small kilns and started my pottery career. I got really lucky with both. But as we know, kilns need way more than just the general upkeep. And do they turn on? The next big question is, do you have electricity? I did not. Not enough to supply. And I wasn't even smart enough to know at that point. I say smart enough. I had some ignorance as to what kilns required. And so I bought my kiln and I'm thinking, oh, way, I found this awesome kiln. And now I can't set it up because I don't have enough electrical power to it. I did some in-depth research. And let me tell you, just to be honest, I had a friend when I was 14 years old that I witnessed get electrocuted, and he passed away, unfortunately. And so I have a very, very healthy respect for electricity, and I don't want to have that happen to me or anybody I know again, because that was pretty brutal. Anyway, so when I say that I'm really picky about electricity, I am very picky about electricity. I'm not going to just throw something out there with an electrical cord, because you really shouldn't. I know people say, yeah, I did, and I do it all the time, and it's fine, but it may or may not be fine. Here's the electrical box that I have. I have Dorothy hardwired, and once again, I'll be getting all these leaves out. It's just fall in Texas, so I have Dorothy hardwired because Dorothy's going to be staying. Baby is not probably going to be staying, so I didn't have the electrician hardwired baby, because baby's not going to be there. And then I'm going to end up putting brother out here, and I'm going to start redoing brother before I hook him up and all. But so there's that. So $80, $2,500. What's more in your budget? Most people probably say, I can start right here. There's going to be some things that I'm going to talk about in a little bit. But we'll get back to that. We're going to be doing electricity right now. Electrical box. Licensed electricians. I'm in a rental, so that was a no-brainer anyway, because that was his requirement. Also that I don't burn the house down, which I do not plan on doing. Licensed electrician. I know nothing about electricity except for it can kill you. And I didn't want to take that chance. And so my husband and I found an electrician that could do the job, and the first one. So the first electrician, I told them that I had this smaller kiln and I wanted to eventually move up. And so baby here could, I guess, technically go with a 40 amp breaker, but more realistically is 50 amps. Dorothy here uses a 60 amp breaker. So let me just say, I thought for a while I would just only be using baby, and as I've grown as a potter, just putting more and more stuff in, I was limited a little bit by the height of the things that I could make in baby. Not so much the width, because at that point I wasn't making any kind of big platters or bowls. I've since moved up to bigger and better things, and it's easier to fit those in Dorothy. So electricity. The electrician originally put a 50 amp breaker. I'd told them that I wanted a 60 amp breaker because I knew I would eventually move up, but they said, okay, we'll take care of this. And then whenever they left, I realized they put a 50 amp breaker in. A little angered, because I really wanted a 60 amp breaker because I knew I would move up. So I paid the price for the 50 amp breaker, realizing afterwards that it was only a 50 amp breaker, and now the deed was done, and I only paid that price too, believe me. But that was close to, I'm guessing, $600, $700 to do that. So then I had a different electrician come back, hook up Dorothy. So then I was looking at that again. They hardwired for me, because I told them I really wanted Dorothy hardwired for safety precautions, because I don't want anything fraying in the plug causing an electrical fire. So this is what I'm looking at here, okay? So the electricity, I've got all these things coming from the back of my house. There's my air conditioner. Around here is the electrical box. I'm just going to walk over here to the electrical box. The further you're away from the electrical box, the more expensive your electricity is going to be and the bigger wires that you need to have. So I'm going to pause while I open up the electrical box. Okay, so here's my electrical box. First I want to look and say, how many amperages can my house handle? That's one of the first things you want to look at when getting a kiln, because that's going to determine a whole lot. So I have 200 amps, so I'm pretty good. If you have 100 amps, you might want to stick with the smaller kiln, because it's going to draw a lot of power, and you're going to be wondering, why in the world is my kiln not working correctly? So as I go down here to my box, see, I have like 2 more spots now I can have available for my, or 1 if you're looking at a bigger. And right here it says kiln plug, and so I keep it on off until I need to turn it to on and use it. Really important that you do that, especially since I'm outside in Texas with storms, hurricanes, whatever. Then I'll tarp and cover up my kiln and hope for the best. I know that that's a disadvantage here. Okay, so I'm going to pause and... Okay, so now we're going to compare the sizes of the kiln shelves. Here is Dorothy's kiln shelf, Baby's kiln shelf, and this is an advancer kiln shelf that I use that has saved many a pottery. So this is a comparison of size. No, I did not make the cookies for Santa, but it'll give you a definite idea of what we're kind of looking at size-wise. What can the kiln hold? Now this is Santa's cookies for on Dorothy's kiln shelf. You can tell the definite difference in the amount of size that can be had. Dorothy has 20-inch, and then I think this one's like a 15-inch, I believe, so 5 inches difference in diameter. Another thing to look at is going to be the size of your kiln shelf posts. We've got 2 different sizes here, and I would not use the smaller size, even though they're the same height. I would not use a smaller size for Dorothy. All I need is a kiln collapse to add to my worries of everything that I tend to destroy. So use the bigger size posts for the bigger kiln. Another option in kiln shelves is I have 2 advancer shelves. Now you can tell the advancer shelf is way lighter, or way thinner. It's a lot lighter, and it does not Whenever you have a glaze that runs, it doesn't stick the entire pot with the glaze to the kiln shelf. And so I wish I had the money to just buy all of the kiln shelves that way for both kilns. I would love it, but they're very expensive. So I have two. And I put the more sketchy items that I have on those two shelves now. I have ruined too many shelves. Another item you may need to get is something to clean your kiln shelves off with. I have an angle grinder with a diamond blade on it, not blade, but whatever you want to call it. And you'll want to go outside and use that to clean off your shelves, and it makes a lot of noise. So you're going to be using protective gear. You're going to use a mask, a big mask, not a respirator, not a little bitty mask. And you're going to be using eye protection and maybe even a face shield, because that's what I use. I need to not harm myself because I need my nighttime job. Anyway, so there's this. And so now you're not only taking into account kilns, you're looking at electricity, and you're also looking at furniture for the kiln. So that's only some of the costs that you're looking at. General upkeep, you are going to be having to replace elements, thermocouplers, relays. You're going to have to adjust kiln setters, and that's another story. Anyway, I can't find my little kiln sitter adjuster now that I'd put up in the cabinet in a jar, so I'll have to find that. So yeah, there's going to be general upkeep and everything. So if you get used, you may be looking at immediate repairs on things, and it still may be more cost effective to get used, to buy new. These days, you're going to be looking at a long wait, because everybody's wanting a kiln right now, and there's not supply, and there's a lot of demand. And so you're going to be waiting a long time. Okay, so I hope that you found this helpful and learned a few things that I learned along the way that kind of ended up costly. But hopefully you get to save that kind of money and get yours right the first time. And if you would like to have any more knowledge of how to repair a digital kiln, some of the repairs that I've done, just kind of look above, and I will hook some videos up there for you. I hope that you have a wonderful evening or day or whatever time of day it is you're watching it, and come back and visit me. Once again, please subscribe, like, comment, all the fun stuff. Have a wonderful day, and bye.